Discussion, and the topic of this discussion is the digital public infrastructure, the next big step. And the moderator for this session will be Mr. NSN Murty, Partner Government and Public Services Consulting Leader, Deloitte, India. Can we please put our hands together for him? Wonderful. And the speakers on this session will be Major General Manjeet Singh, SM, Joint Secretary. All right. So moving on, Ms. Bhawna Garg, IAS. Okay. And Mr. Resham Sethi, Department of Health and Family Welfare and Department of Governance Reforms. Please, can we have a huge round of applause for her? Come on, everyone. All right. Mr. Rupesh Kumar, IAS, Director Information. All right. Mr. Shafqat Khan, Additional Mission Director, Ayushman Bharat Digital Health Mission, UT of Jammu and Kashmir. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. Next, up on the panelists, we have Mr. Ramesh Kumar Gupta, Deputy Director General and SIO, National Informatics Center, Chandigarh. All right, and up next on the panel, we have Mr. K. Srinivasa Raghavan, Deputy Director General and SIO, National Informatics Center, Tamil Nadu. I hope we've all had lunch, right? Can we please put our hands together? Come on, everyone. Wonderful. And up next, we have Mr. Harish Rajput, Head Government, Tally Solutions. एक बार जोरदार तालियां Mr. Harish Rajput ji के लिए. And up next on the panel, we have Mr. T.R. Dua, DG Digital Infrastructure Providers Association. So a big round of applause for him as well. So here, as you can see, we have, once again, brilliant minds who are going to be discussing, talking to all of you. So over to the mentor, to the moderator, Mr. NSN Murty.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. And even before I could have started, again the board says time's up. And I also got the message saying that we should actually keep it a little shorter. So what we are going to do is, we actually had a little bit of a conversation amongst the panelists and how do we run this entire panel. We'll make a little bit of a tweaks in that, and I know everyone knows this subject pretty well, and they also know me that I'm a little bit of a time taskmaster also. So we will make it short, we'll make it a little bit interactive also, make some changes, so feel free to ask questions in between. So that's the subject. As we started the conversation today, digital public goods or infrastructure is something which is not new to India. The nomenclature is new to everyone, where, as our Honorable Secretary mentioned, that in Europe or US, this was actually a private sector based endeavor where they build the platforms and the technology, and it's given to the rest of the European Union nations or given as an open source product. In India, it has been developed for ages by the public sector entities. Okay, so that's been a kind of a phenomena a long term and replicated across multiple states and cities and so on and so forth. So it's not new. The only thing is, as we said, can we actually make it much more standardized? Make sure that these are bug free, they're well tested, they're cyber secure, they have a good experience in front. And anybody can actually have a documentation to deploy it and also make the capacity development and training on top of that. So few of the elements of that. So what we are going to discuss is, and I'm taking the liberty from all of you saying that changing the question, because I said a question, I'm going to change the question a little bit so that we actually make it much more interactive. So what I'm going to actually let every panelist to ask a just very quick thing about your views on how India can be a superpower in your field, where you can actually help with the product development. So I'll start with from left, extreme left, and we'll we'll have a conversation. Just 3 minutes, and make it very crisp, actionable, so that we can, and then we'll ask a question from the audience.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. So, because I come from an industry which is into the financial management solution, and we are there in the market for the last 35 years, so I'll have discussed on the perspective of the same. If you see the accounting industry, like in the couple of years, we have seen a big transformation in the accounting industry. The way we used to do the accounting around, you can say, 20 years back, and the way we are doing right now, there's a lot of changes. So, a job of the accountant is currently not only to make the books, but also to analyze the data which they are getting. Similarly, if you see the real-time data, the importance of real-time data has become more important these days. Earlier, the reports used to get generated once in a month, and then you used to analyze it. But now that is not possible the way the things are happening in the country or in the market. If I talk about all the bureaucrats sitting over here, and especially those who are, heading the mission mode projects like NRHM, NRLM or SSA, they want the information right on the table, real time. They want to see the dashboard, especially because they want to see the utilization of funds which they have received from the World Bank or the Government of India, so that, then they can plan and strategize the thing accordingly. So the real-time data access has become very important. This is one, and then especially the GST. So if I talk about our industry, yes, GST is the one, you can say, the area which has transformed the businesses in the India like anything. When the GST was launched, yes, we were very active, like as a company like Tally, and we did almost 4,000 events in the country, not only to, make it popular, but also to, like in the morning, the Secretary Government of India was saying, because the skilling is equally important. So we did events across the country to, make the people learn what exactly GST is, how it is going to impact the businesses, and what were the repercussions and all. So that is one area where we have worked very aggressively, and the advantage is that today 60% of countries' e-invoices are getting generated from the Tally technology platform. So we have, transformed our own software, the way we used to deliver it 20 years back, and the new technology which we have adopted. There's a lot of changes have taken place as per the latest requirement of the country. So I think that is a major change which we have brought in the system right now.
No, I completely appreciate the way in which the Tally has actually gone to the grassroots level in every place and to create the financial reforms. I think kudos to that. So your views on the same?
Yeah. Myself, Rupesh Gupta. I am SIO DDG Chandigarh. Just to say कि let's create a digital infrastructure. I can say in one word, NIC is a digital infrastructure. Only I can say in one word. NIC is only total digital infrastructure. It is to create a digital infrastructure. It is very easy to say to create a digital infrastructure, but to create a digital infrastructure, we should have a very, we can say we should study a lot, because to create a digital infrastructure, we have to take research. We have to study the demand of the pupils. We should collect the data. What type of digital infrastructure is taken care of that? And in all over India, NIC is most probably, NIC is a just example of the digital infrastructure. In early morning, Secretary Mighty Sir said that we should prepare a single platform. We are working on that also with the NIC Chandigarh. Sir, just Nitin Yadav sir, jo Home Secretary sir also said, in Chandigarh, we have a very command and control center. We had created. That is also an example of the digital infrastructure, because all the citizen services, like first we are using only the traffic management in that control center. But in future, we are planning to bring all the citizen services at a single platform only. That is a use. That is actually called digital infrastructure. Like in the case, how we can create a digital infrastructure and where it is used for the second person. We should, like we said, we are preparing an application, but not. I can say we can prepare a product of that. That product is called as a digital infrastructure. In my point of view, as per my surrounding, I can say product as a digital infrastructure. I can give you the two minor, within a 1 minute, I can give you the two example, which I had done myself itself only. Earlier in Haryana also, I had prepared a one industrial. When the COVID is going on in a peak season, and we have to prepare, we have to give the permissions of all the industries to open the industry. How will give the, first we had prepared a software and that give the manual approval of that case in all the level, whether it is SDM level, DC level, like that. We thought on that, we get a report that there are lot of things are going pending. Then we tried automatic solutions for auto approval. Because industry's permission can be given on the basis of the zone. That is MHA guideline. We had taken a API from the RSEC. RSEC has totally geographical database in which this station is come under red zone, green zone. And on that basis, we automatically take the industries can apply, give their latitude, longitude. On the basis of that, we take the API and we design whether it come into the area where we have to give the permission. And automatically, all the people are so happy, all the industrials are so happy. We can say within a period of 15 or 20 days, we have given the permission of 20 to 30 lakh industries for all over Haryana. And second best part of that is that when laborer, 50 lakhs laborer get received a job on the pattern of this, our product, because they will get their passes, vehicle passes, move pass from that only. From it. In second question, we are doing.
I'll come to the second part later, 3 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Srinivasji,
Ma'am, good afternoon. Madam, come down.
so that you come back up, because I need to explain the question asked.
Okay. Very good afternoon. I am happy to be here because I've developed a few products and I also implemented it. The first thing that I would like to thank is that we have 3 SAOs here at Chandigarh. SAO Chandigarh, SAO Haryana, SAO Punjab. So whenever we develop a new product, the first thing is to be tested. We get excellent feedback from this place because we have plenty of resources here, people who can test and give us the feedback. So that helped us to take it as a forward in a number of things. While taking up this forward, I would like to talk about 2 products that we have developed and implemented across the country. The first one is Integrated Road Accident Database. The first product, as you know, is number of accidents happen in across the country, and Tamil Nadu tops the list. So Tamil Nadu has been given the task of developing an application for managing the road accidents and ensuring that the services to the victim or whoever has got met with an accident is given immediately. So we have developed an application. It's a mobile-based application. Whenever an accident takes place, immediately when the information goes to it, anybody can go and take the photograph and give it to the police. The police also comes, captures relevant information, and immediately it goes to 108 automatically, and the message goes to the nearby hospitals. The vans immediately gets arranged and the person is transported. That normally that 1 hour time that they say, the peak time in which the patient is brought to the hospital, he gets survived. In the recent time, the number of accident cases that has got entered into this within a span of 1 hour is almost 70 to 80%. There are few states where it is getting included, but maybe in a year or 2, the number of deaths in the road will definitely come down and we will be able to save many precious lives also. This is one simple example of a product which has been implemented across the country. The other product that we have developed is a e-procurement platform, government e-procurement system of NIC, which we have been implementing it for the last 14 years across the country in 32 states. This has been developed as a product initially and rolled out across the country with the first PKI-based solution that we have rolled out across the country. There are other things that I would like to add in the public infrastructure is NIC has an excellent NKN network, the National Knowledge Network, which is now limited to government sectors and educational institutes. which may likely get extended to others also subsequently during the next subsequent years. And FiberNet, also BharatNet is also getting faster, picking up faster, so that we will be able to have excellent network to manage all the services that are required at the grassroots level. The third thing that I would like to come is security aspect of it. We have a SOC at Delhi, and every data that comes in is monitored, like whatever morning our speakers were telling about the security aspects of it. We have it. And one personal request is have a personal digital hygiene, to have a excellent, safe, because we use mobile to a very large extent, even payment and other things we use through the mobile. So have a personal digital hygiene so that you will be saved from any of the random attacks that are likely to happen. You will be saved. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Sir. So I will, because we have Mr. Rupesh and Ms. Bhawna from here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat the questions what we started with. One is, what we are actually talking about is our experience of a digital product or an infrastructure that has been created in the past. And we want to share that which has a potential to replicate. And you coming from UIDAI as a classic example. And I want to put you on a spot saying that we all know Aadhaar. So maybe what on top of the Aadhaar, what has been done?
So see, I represent the regional office UIDAI from Chandigarh. I'm the Deputy Director General here. So see, Aadhaar is the Aadhaar for building all kinds of digital products. You know, today if the Parivar Pehchan Patra has been built up by Haryana, it is based on Aadhaar, because it helps you to deduplicate. You have one person only in one family. So you talk about farmers' registration in taking place in Karnataka, it is built on the platform of Aadhaar. And Aadhaar is not just any other identity. You can digitally verify it anywhere, anytime. We all know what is authentication. You know, you can check up. And now, you know, in Aadhaar, we are also, earlier Aadhaar was only meant for, you know, benefits and subsidies from the consolidated fund of India or the state. Now Aadhaar can also be used for good governance. So a lot of people are coming with a lot of new initiatives, like you see conducting an exams. So in Haryana state, they experimented that they are checking the students' identity by face authentication of the candidates. So these kinds of, like even in Amarnath Yatra, they are checking the Yatri registration through Aadhaar, face auth. So there are a lot of things which can be built upon Aadhaar. We all know the Aadhaar-enabled payment systems. We have about 55 lakh micro ATMs which are being carried across the country by postal payment bank operators or even by Anganwadi workers. So people can withdraw their money without carrying even a mobile. You know your Aadhaar, you put your thumbprint, and you can withdraw a certain amount of money from your account in case of an emergency. So Aadhaar payment bridges, we all know the amount of direct benefit transfers that is going through it. So Aadhaar forms the fundamentals for building up all kinds of digital infrastructure, whether it is government to citizen or from business to citizen, or even from citizen to business also. So it has left open the whole ground, like people can be innovative, creative. So government is doing a lot of innovation, and now we are also telling that, to strengthen Aadhaar. So, when you build an infrastructure, you have to be very sure that, your foundation is strong. So now we are focusing on the document updation. The people, 133 crore Aadhaar are there in the country. So if I see at the figure, about 75 crore of them have come up again to update their Aadhaar in the last 8 to 10 years. So Aadhaar has been now covered a decade-long journey. So now we are telling people that, those who have not come in these 10 years to update their Aadhaar, they should come once again and update their Aadhaar with the proof of identity and address. So my appeal would be keep your Aadhaar updated so that, the whole digital public infrastructure which is built over it is as robust, because it is our responsibility as citizens of this country that Aadhaar should be strong. Nobody should doubt it,
No, very, very rightly said. We have been all beneficiaries of one or the other solutions of Aadhaar. So from whether it is an airport or whether it is any other transaction. So I think Aadhaar has been the Aadhaar for various things. Shafqat, I will come to you for not only for the healthcare, which you are currently doing, but I think in the past you have done a lot of other projects. Maybe some glimpses from your past plus the current one, the products or the projects that J&K has delivered, because usually these are well-kept secrets within J&K, and we don't know much. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I was just discussing precisely that Jammu Kashmir is a union territory. It was a state which has two capital cities, Jammu and Srinagar. And there was this tradition of Darbar move. So the Secretariat from Srinagar would, in each end of October, move to Jammu for 6 months physically. Physically would mean human resource, computers, files, sometimes furniture, and there would be, a large, per se, of trucks going on national highway. The traffic for the national highway would be stopped for 2 days because the Darbar was moving. In 2019, with the abrogation of Article 370, there is a new trend. There is a new J&K, which we talk about. And now, J&K is on e-office, and the Darbar doesn't move. We have saved 250 crores annually, which would be the expense of Darbar move. E-office, not only on the Secretariat level, but on all the directorates. I mean, all departments, and we are just anticipating that even the panchayats and the Panchayati Raj institutions also go for e-office. But as Mr. Murty said, J&K is a place known for not the good reasons always in the past, but there's a lot which has been done over the past years. I would begin with the smart city projects, which came on in the year 2017. As Mr. Murty wanted me to go dwell into the past a little bit, I was the municipal commissioner for Srinagar city, and the smart city project is changing the entire landscape of our two cities. Jammu and Srinagar were very congested cities. The beautification of the pan-city solutions across the old city of Srinagar and the new city, we needed to refurbish a lot of land and road infrastructure, the bridges, the passages, pathways, the flyovers. The urban transport in both the cities is a problem. Parking was a problem. In Jammu city, we have immediately developed 4 flyovers over the past 2017 onwards, and we have developed 4 huge parking areas, decongested Jammu city. So as far as the innovations are concerned in the digital side, as I earlier said, e-office was one innovation. Now we are reaching to Ayushman Bharat digital mission in the healthcare. So healthcare has always been J&K's priority, and this time you will be very happy to know that the indicators of health, maternal child mortality, the fertility rate, we are almost entering single digits now. We are at the base of double digits, and we are soon anticipating to go into single digits. Our infant mortality rate under 5 years fell 10 points in 2018. A sweep down 10 points has never occurred globally anywhere. It's such a record. Means something huge happened in the infrastructure of J&K in the health sector. Then we today are talking about AI and machine learning in J&K, which would maybe not be possible to think 5 to 8 years back. Today we are going into artificial intelligence in healthcare, in other fields. We have just rolled out a plan day before yesterday with the planning department, J&K, the health and medical. I am the nodal person there. We are going to invite private entrepreneurs, partners, to help us, handhold us in the field of artificial intelligence and develop robust models where, the patient, there's big data in J&K. Across the country, we have big data as concerns healthcare. And if we use this big data well enough, we will be able to predict, diseases, patterns, medicines, emergencies. As one of our panelists said, this golden hour of emergencies. We will be able to put in place 102 and 108 ambulances. And we have had such a breakthrough. You call 108 or 102 anywhere in J&K right now. The ambulance will reach you within 20 minutes. Guaranteed 20 minutes. So we have changed. We have overhauled our old systems into robust systems. We have come a long way in that. But meanwhile, I am proud to announce here that J&K has been ranked as #1 in the citizen-centric services this year. And we are giving more than 400 services online now to people. And the J&K government is anticipating to have them on a single window platform. 166 services have been put in the single window platform. Our LG sir, the Chief Secretary J&K, they are always in any meeting, any gathering, IT is always discussed. So I feel that we will put J&K into the map, into the top performing in the IT field, and there's a lot of scope, there's a lot of way to go ahead. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Mr. Resham, do you want to actually add how the health department is doing in Haryana?
Punjab.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Am I audible? Hello everybody, good evening. Many thanks to our dignitaries and also organizers. My name is Resham Sethi, and I'm working with the government of Punjab, especially the Department for Health and Family Welfare and Governance Reforms. We've collaborated with a number of organizations, UIDAI being one of them. So in Punjab, we are taking a very integrative, holistic, and a multi-sectoral approach in terms of healthcare and emerging tech. What we are doing is we are getting back at the bottom. So we are using a bottoms-up approach. All of us are talking about emerging tech, AI, IoTs, cloud-based stuff. I come from a background of sustainable international development and artificial intelligence in healthcare. And what we are taught to understand is what kind of data are we even generating? How are we collecting the data? Is the data clean enough? Because without data, AI doesn't work. So what we're doing in Punjab is we're strengthening our research and development ecosystem. We are trying to make a local framework which is generalizable and replicable throughout the world. So we're using Punjab as a use case to develop this. What we're doing is, in terms of healthcare, we have narrowed it down to mental health and well-being. We are creating an AI-enabled conceptual and process framework where we address basic questions. First, what are the social determinants that impact mental health and well-being? What are the social activities and interactions that exist between people that impact their mental health and well-being? How are children and adolescents and youth being impacted because of the COVID pandemic? How has suicide ideation increased or exacerbated post-COVID, and what was the situation pre-COVID? Currently, we are not having evidence-based data that identifies patterns that we could even use to predict what the youth and children of Punjab are going to be in the next 10 years. What are the mental health problems that's going to exist in Punjab? So to address these basic things, we are getting onto the ground and conducting landscape assessments to begin with. We want to go to the communities and talk to people that are a part of the mental health ecosystem in Punjab to understand what are your needs. What are people's needs in terms of mental health, in terms of accessing services, provision of services, interaction with the technological infrastructure? What are the digital inequities that exist in Punjab? We are talking about digital public infrastructure and the next big steps. I think one important question that we need to address here is, while we are talking of digital transformation, what are the existing digital inequities? Without addressing digital inequities, we won't be able to transform ourselves holistically in rural, tribal, and urban India. So what we're doing in Punjab is we're conducting landscape assessments to get answers to all these questions. What is the digital literacy that exists in Punjab, not just among children and youth, but also adults? How has these different social, economic, behavioral, environmental, like climate change, impacted their mental health? And after that, we are going to use AI and ML tools to analyze the data. So we are not just going to use the traditional methods to collect data, that is interviews, surveys, questionnaires, and focus group. We are also trying to use different AI tools, ML tools, to collect digital data. So we are trying to create digital communities which fall within the public digital infrastructure. It's very ambitious, but yes, I think India is doing a lot of ambitious work and we are a part of that. The next step, what we're going to do after collecting this database of evidence-based, proper, clean data, we're going to use it to analyze it so that we'll be able to identify patterns, predict what is happening, what's not, and then finally create guiding principles that will help us identify what are the needs, what are the current digital mental health interventions that are addressing these needs, and what are the gaps. What are the technological infrastructure gaps that exist? Where are the digital inequities that exist? Is there enough connectivity for us to even have digital public infrastructure in rural Punjab? That is something that we are going to gather. And then finally, in the phase 2, we'll identify an optimal digital mental health intervention to address the gaps in the needs. And that's when collaboration comes in hand. Because the government alone will not be able to move forward. It needs a lot of sustainable collaborations and partnerships with many people. And by many people, I mean not just state, national, or international organizations, but community in itself. So community engaged research is something that we are looking at where we involve communities. So using the approach of empowerment, collaboration, and partnership, we are trying to make a paradigm shift in the mental health well-being ecosystem in Punjab. Thank you.
That's really interesting. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mr. Dua, you're a veteran in this industry from a tower infrastructure support for everyone and creating that 4G use cases go live. Now you are actually moving to the 5G. So I'm not going to ask you about the DPI or others. I wanted to ask you which are the 5G use cases or a couple of use cases you think, because Chandigarh is one of those cities which is for the 14 cities which are there for 5G. Where do you see the next 5G use cases happening?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me compliment the organizers, GovConnect, for choosing a very apt theme is the digital transformation conclave. I think this is one platform which has all relevant stakeholders on board. I'll just take you first that if you look at, since morning we have been talking of integrated command and control system, AI, VR, everything put together. And also we've been thinking, I think this important to note is the back end, I think the robust digital infrastructure, which is very important. If you look at the surge in the data, that is from way back around, let's say about 3 months to 4 months back, it was per month, there was around 12 GB. Today, in the last report which came from the regulator, is 19 GB. With that, what is required is at the back end is the creation of the robust digital infrastructure. We have today almost close to 750,000 towers, 25 lakhs radios sitting over it, and also the fiberization. Now, when you say this, that there is a need for a creation of a robust digital infrastructure, then coming in the next wave is the 5G itself. Now, for 5G, what you need is, very important is one, the street furniture, and also the densification of the network. Therefore, that is how you will be able to implement 5G on this. Therefore, what is important is that what we need is an infrastructure. Be that as it may, for 5G we'll need the densification of network, we'll be needing the street pole, DISCOM will also be required to support us. The small cells will be required, and a huge opportunity for everyone. Now in the 5G, when evolution, if you say 2G to 2.5G to 3G to 4G to 5G, it has its own advantages. It's a technology, it's not a technology. And it also, the bare minimum latency and with the huge data which is available to you. Now the utility for 5G, you've seen from 3G to 4G, we have been able to get in connected with that. There was a time when actually we could never forget in a phone in there. You could forget a wallet in your pocket, but phone you do never forget. Now 5G, when the 5G is under implementation, and Chandigarh fortunately is one of the city which is identified to implement the 5G. Now 5G has many use cases. To give you many cases, health is one, manufacturing is one, agriculture is another, education is another. And you can list number of things that you can. Today, if you look at the whole scenario, is going to change when the 5G is going to. You don't need to go. Probably, I think the last time that you would have used is the landline. I think last time. So therefore, what is required is to make sure the 5G is implemented and 5G use cases, what I have told you is also available. Is most important will be to create the necessary digital critical infrastructure. I'm using a critical infrastructure. For that, I think the government, be it the center, be it the state, we work with almost around 36 states. I would like to put it on record that the states have been so cooperative to do this. Out of 36 states, we are almost closely working with all the states, and all of them are aligned with the central government guideline, whether it was the National Digital Communication Policy, whether it was the National Broadband Mission, and again, the fiberization is the most important today. If we are looking for much more use cases on this one, is the fiberization. Today you have almost close to 3.5 million route kilometers of the cable, and 36% of the towers are only fiberized. What I need to do is to make sure that everything, whether you're talking of any technology, AI, ML, whatever technology you're talking, whatever command centers you're talking, is important is the fiberization. For that, the state governments have a bigger role to play, to allow digging, and also the aerial fiber which has been allowed today to put the aerial fiber. Why aerial fiber has been allowed is to make sure that you are faster up and running to do those. So therefore, for 5G and its use cases, the state, just to summarize this, the states have also an equally important role. And fortunately, today you have all the stakeholders, be it the industry, be it the state, be it the network provider, be it the app provider. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Deloitte. Rupesh ji, I'm coming to you at the end. On the panel, but a very relevant question. Chandigarh has been doing a lot of work in the IT space. And I know you have developed by departments a lot of applications. Maybe you want to talk about one of them, which is your favorite and which you believe has the potential to replicate and give it to other states for development, further development.
Good afternoon to all. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share the initiatives we are doing from the Department of Information Technology, Chandigarh. We are talking about digital public infrastructure. Let's understand what are the key pillars in digital public infrastructure. It is to provide a unique digital identity to a citizen. Second thing, it provides about the real-time transfer of money, cash flow, in digital format only, and that too in a safeguard manner. Talking about the initiatives we are going to do in Chandigarh, we are going to create, right now we have created the unique identity of citizens of the residents through Aadhaar. We are proposing to create a unique ID of all the properties of Chandigarh, whether it is built up or vacant, and how it can help us out in anywhere across the country. A property ID is there. Then what will happen, supposingly, I will take the case of a property tax. Some resident is paying a property tax of a residential rates, but on the contrary, they are using the commercial electricity connection. How will you identify? Because there is no interlinking. If the interlinking is that the property ID towards both the systems are unique, then it can be identified. Another scenario, I am going to purchase a property. What happens when I go to a sub-registrar? they are getting my property registered. And when I am going to the estate office or housing board to get the property updated in the register of rights, they say that you have to bring NOC from various departments, that there is no electricity bill due, there is no property tax due, there is no water bill due, or there is no other things which is important. After that, we will do the transfer. If that property ID is there, it means everyone is on board, and just by clicking a button, we will be able to know that there is no due or there is some due. And vice versa, when someone is going to buy a property, they can also see on real-time basis that I am going to buy this property from person A, and person A is claiming that property is totally clear and there is nothing pending against the property. But if I am going to buy the property, I can click and see that, look mister, this is due towards you, you first clear it or I will pay you less. Only then I am going to buy your property. Another thing, using the technology, LiDAR survey, we are going to geotag all the locations. It will also help us in another way, that if anyone has violated anything or using it for another purpose which is not permissible, we will be able to identify same and freeze the property. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's really interesting, and the use case that you mentioned about with the LiDAR is extremely useful for most of the cities, not just a very organized and a structured city like Chandigarh, but a lot of cities. So we will actually take one or two questions from the audience if there are any. Then we will have the questions with the panel. If there are any questions, we will take from the audience right now. It's not necessary that you are. So we have one. Can you pass on the mic, please?
Can
And this should be a question and I'm very apologetic to start with. If there is a suggestion or a remark, I'll stop you in between. Okay, there's a complaint. Then I just hold on. So the complaint can be taken offline. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. So I'm just trying to keep the quorum in this entire thing. Oh, yeah.
So, my neighbor has asked me that why are we insisting upon masked Aadhaar? So, this is very interesting. When we talk about a digital public infrastructure, we have to also ensure the security of it. When we started making Aadhaar at a drive, 135 crores, so we started using any kind of a biometric device could be used, which we call it as a public device. And slowly we came to registered devices, which means that, we could trace, from which device what is being done. And even the Aadhaar biometrics which is captured, it is captured in a encrypted form and it is transferred in encrypted form. We insisted upon having hardware, security modules to save your Aadhaar. We insisted upon data vaults, that people should keep Aadhaar only in data vaults. But today Aadhaar is like, ubiquitous. Everybody is using it. Any identity document, railway wala kahega, give me a copy of Aadhaar. You go to a hotel check-in, they would say, give me a copy of Aadhaar. So how do I validate? So, Aadhaar can be photoshopped also, a paper copy. So we say we have a QR code on Aadhaar. So there is a QR code scanner app is there, or from the Aadhaar app, you scan that QR code and it will give you my details. This is Bhawna Garg, this is our age, gender, address, it will give you. So that is one way. But then I say, when we say about the AEPS, that Aadhaar enabled payment system, that you can draw the money just by putting my thumbprint and giving my Aadhaar number, I can withdraw a certain amount of money from my account. As I said, we have 55 lakh micro ATMs today. So every technology, people also try to break it. Like somebody captured my fingerprints and, he knows my Aadhaar number and he can, with the collusion of the person who is operating the micro ATM, so they may try to withdraw some money from my account. So to stop that, we have started doing a liveness check. Technology is evolving to make that, the fingerprint liveness check. that, nobody is using any, gummy finger or things like that. But at the same time, we are also telling people that whosoever is collecting Aadhaar without having an HSM or without having a data vault, they should always use, masked Aadhaar. Masked Aadhaar means your first 8 digits of the Aadhaar should be crossed and only the last 4 digits should be visible. And then from the QR code, you can always validate an Aadhaar. So I hope I answer your question. Yeah. Thank you. So, we have to all build the securities into our system so that the digital public infrastructure is sound enough for any kind of family ID systems or what all innovations we do.
Yeah, so I will take a question there, but I'll just, while the mic reaches the gentleman, I'll just tell Ms. Bhawna that none of the hotels, they will accept a mask Aadhaar. They will insist on the full number. None of the hotels. Okay, so we are sitting in a hotel, I think you can go to the reception and they will check. They will take the full. So it's not the knowledge of the giver, it's the knowledge of the receiver which needs to be enhanced. I think the organizations are not well aware of that they are not supposed to accept it. Okay, so that's very important. Mike?
Anyone else? Mike, beta.
Hello. Ma'am, my question is for you only. I'm Vikramjit Grover, Senior Director and Additional SIU, Punjab. You have just urged to use masked Aadhaar. My personal experience is that the question is of acceptability. My experience is that no bank accepts this. I've tried it with SBI, ICICI, Central Bank. I'm banking with all 3 banks. They don't accept it. No mutual fund agencies, they're not accepting it. There's an urgent need to educate those people. Or, the message has to be given by UIDAI to all the agencies to accept the masked Aadhaar. I have printout also of my masked Aadhaar. I tried to convince them also that this is the actual Aadhaar, but they say it's not acceptable. What is your take on this?
I think this is a +1 which already happened. So I think this is something which we already shared with.
Because unless until it is, the thirst is from
I get your point. You say this is again, I would say this is a work in progress. Reaching out to 130 crore.
No hotel is, accepting this at all.
So, so there are 2 features. One is the QR code on the Aadhaar. People should know that, you should not even accept a photocopy even if there is a full Aadhaar written because it can be photoshopped. So we are also promoting that there's a QR code on the Aadhaar. Kindly scan that QR code to see that, this Aadhaar actually belongs to the person who is giving you that paper Aadhaar. Right? So this is also a question, that people are giving a photoshopped Aadhaar copy and then, the Aadhaar has to take the blames that,
it's being
I will use the moderator powers to stop the discussion here so that we will proceed.
Sure, sir. You have got all the powers.
So this we will have it later
it's a work in progress. We have to build 2 ways.
So on behalf of Fahim, I'm organizing after this session, there is an Aadhaar enablement session. Please stay back and have that. Okay, so, but on this, we have 3 of the panelists who are actually from government, who are actually the net users of any of the digital infrastructure. We have 2 application development agencies representative. I have from the private sector. I have a platform and a standard provider, and I have an industry body. So it's a very classical structure of the panel. So what I'm going to ask is a totally different questions now. Not around the DPG, but around the work which we are actually having, the digital transformation. So from the user department, very quickly, and it's a 30 seconds answer question only, because I'm looking at the time, so it's only 13 minutes left, 30-second answer. What's the next big wave in your department?
It is maybe virtual chatbots. Patients should be able to get in, first-hand information immediately from, it's kind of an emergency medical response mechanism. A chatbot will immediately help a person find out solutions, maybe in the cities, the urban areas, or the hard-to-reach areas in J&K. He will speak to the chatbot and immediately get the answers. The peripheral areas where maybe healthcare is not available, specialist is not available. So we want to develop that robust mechanism for our people.
Fantastic. That's really great.
like I previously said already in my answer, we are strengthening the research and development ecosystem, and also would be setting up the Center for Emerging Tech, where we'll close the loop in the sense starting with data collection in using AI, ML, and not just AI as emerging tech, but there are different other platforms also that fall within this umbrella. So we're trying to use it to strengthen the governance systems, education, health, regular workflows within the government. So we're trying to work on that using emerging technology. So that's the next big step.
So it's pretty wide. So can I actually say that emerging tech's capacity development building inside the government so that you can make best use of it?
Yes, so it will be within the Department of Governance Reforms.
Okay.
And like I earlier mentioned, we are working very multi-sectorial and not in siloed anymore.
Perfect. Rupesh ji, your?
Like all of us is saying that we are developing this app or that app from the Department of Information Technology, I must say we are working towards providing an integrated solution wherein all the department databases talk with each other, so that if something is happening at one place, it is going to update in the second place. Because why citizen should download n number of apps and go to log in on n number of websites. He or she should be able to log into one website and be routed to another website and will be able to fetch the data. And same vice versa with the government officials, that they are not aware what other department is doing. We are going to develop such a websites wherein we are just need to customize little bit of interface, and the other department will be able to replicate the same. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll come to the development agencies. Both the NICs from Tamil Nadu as well as from the Chandigarh. One big question every time is asked is the UI UX or the GUI for your applications are not friendly. Okay, so where does you stand today in developing those skills?
Sir, even if the UIX is not good, the applications run for years together. That's one thing that you may have to insist also. As you rightly said, we focus mainly on the application, running of the application, and it will definitely run, there will not be any failure. But on the UI UX side, what we are planning to do is, we engage with the third parties, get the UX developers onboarded onto us, and then get this done. We've been doing it in the recent projects that we have been doing it also. All the new projects that we take up, we hire people from the market having good UI UX thing, and then incorporate it into our applications. Thank you.
Sir, yes, I think as you say rightly, but I think you can definitely you can see the difference for earlier and right now. We are likely definitely going to change. Just as sir has said, we are engaging web developer also and web designer also, because we are lacking behind that portion also. Because on the basis of the feedback, now our main concentration is also in that UI UX, so that can be improved, and that looks very much as compared to the public partnership.
So, private sector, little bit of a, so I'm now wearing a different hat as a citizen. Why should I pay for your license? Why you are not an open source and you only charge me for services?
The first thing is just like the government of India, TERI also believes in, providing the simplest technology to the users. Right, so we are working very closely or very aggressively for the MSME sector, so that we can make their life easy, especially in the connected environment. Yes, as far as your question is concerned, we are providing various kind of services to our customers, and if you see the price of TERI or the services charges which we are taking, it's hardly anything. It's not even what you are paying for a cup of tea in a day. I think the same charges we are getting from the customer. So I think that much is required to run the R&D also.
So I'm coming to the industry. I'll come at the end to the platform where we'll end with the panel. From the industry, and again I'm going back to the 5G, Mr. Dua. What is one, because you have a department which is Chandigarh administration, and you have J&K, you have Punjab. What is the one ask for getting the 5G rolled out? I know fiberization is one of them. Okay, right of way is the other one. So I want to actually remove those two. Is there anything else? Because those actually live with the municipal corporation, so that's a problem. IT department cannot play a role. what do you need from an IT department to make sure 5G use cases are enabled?
Thank you very much. I think creation of an infrastructure is a parallel activity. You asked me one thing which we need. I think I can say a number of things. The one thing that we need is 5G implementation nationwide is very important, is what we need to use the street furniture. When we say street furniture, means usage of making use of the small cells in building solution, bus shelters, government building, which is very important. The next one which we required, since the densification of network is important, we certainly seek help, and we are working with the discoms because we want to make use of their poles for putting the aerial fibers. I'm not talking fiberization, you said don't talk, but I'm just saying making use of the poles, which is very important to make sure, because the densification and the type of the infrastructure is almost close to 8 to 10 times infrastructure which we have today. This is one ask that I gave you. Thank you.
Perfect, great. I'm coming at the end to you, Ms. Bhawna. What is the 1 or 2 or X, whatever, is that on the Aadhaar platform the states can contribute along with you?
As I said, we are focusing on making Aadhaar services more citizen-friendly. So we are telling the states that every state should open up, one 7 days working Aadhaar center, so that, people can avail the services 7 days. And I'm happy to say that Haryana has one per district, Punjab has many centers, running 7 days in a week. Even Chandigarh has many centers running. J&K also has some centers running. So in my region, at least, I can say that we have it done already. So another thing is we are starting a state portal, that all the adult enrollments above 18 years, because the Aadhaar saturation we have reached. So now we are a little like every year, we get some 4 crore new enrollments, out of which 40 lakhs is new adult enrollment. So we are a bit concerned, like, who are these people who were left out of the system, and if they are now coming after 18 years of age, we are requesting the state government that, you should verify the credentials of that person, and then only we will get enrolled into Aadhaar. So it's going to take a little longer time for 18 plus new enrollments. Updations are fine, but new enrollments we are saying check. The third part is that we are saying that, see, out of 133 crore Aadhaar which we issued, only 75 crores have come up for an updation over the years. So we are asking the state to promote this, document update, as we call it, that people should be encouraged that who have not updated their Aadhaar in the last 8 to 10 years, they should put up a proof of identity and a proof of address into the Aadhaar, so that, to strengthen the Aadhaar, Shashakt Aadhaar.
Before we end the panel, which actually digressed a lot from the main subject, but wanted to capture more thoughts on this. Any last question anyone wants to ask? Otherwise we'll close this session and we'll give back 4 minutes to you. I can't see who's asking the question. No, there's no question. Okay, great. And let me thank all the panelists. And I know we changed a lot, we digressed a lot. Thank you so much and being patient and bearing with me. I know I have not moderated so well, but please, because I was looking at the time and it was already delayed. Thank you so much for being here.
That was being really modest, but trust me, you absolutely held the session really well. So please, a big round of applause for Mr. NS and Murty. I think so. This is the time people really opened up, asking questions. And thank you to all the panelists. Once again, can we please have a big round of applause for all of them? Come on, everyone. And now, moving forward, now I would like to call upon Mr. Vivek Goyal, Vice President, Marketing and Evangelism, Citizen Developer, to please present the mementos to our panelists. Can we now please step forward for a group photograph? Mr.